So I'm here at Rivian in Las Vegas, and I had the opportunity to check out their brand new R2 that they have here. This was just announced, or just released, I guess you could say. This is their premium launch edition, which is just under $58,000. And at the moment, this is the only one that you can get. They are planning more affordable models. They do have one that's coming out later this year, as well as their cheapest variant that is coming in 2027. But today I had the opportunity to review it. But without further ado, let's get started. So the R2 is very similar to the R1S. It is a bit smaller, but don't let that fool you though. Even though that it is slightly smaller than the R1S, it does have a lot to offer. I would place it more along the sides of the Tesla Model Y size, but it has a lot of very unique characteristics that just make it feel so much larger than really it looks like. All right, so in terms of ground clearance, you're looking at 9.6 inches of ground clearance compared to the Tesla Model Y's 6.6 inches of ground clearance, which overall, that makes this thing a very heavy off-road contender. And good thing about Rivian too is even with the R2, it still has the very iconic Rivian look. A lot of Rivian enthusiasts have dubbed these the USB-C lights, but no, sorry, you cannot plug any USB-Cs into the front of these. You have these very sturdy, nice stainless steel looking tow hooks, which overall I'm a big fan of. To get into the Frunk, which is something that's very interesting. So we do have a button that's right here on the front, but it's not an actual push button. It's actually haptic feedback, which here in Las Vegas, obviously, we have nothing to worry about that. But if you're in somewhere that's maybe more of an icy climate, that might become an issue because I'm kind of worried about it more of icing over. But then again, you can use your Rivian app, or you can actually use the key fob that comes with it to open up the trunk. Excuse me, this is the Frunk. Trunk's in the back. But in terms of the Frunk, something that I really do thoroughly enjoy, something that I kind of wish Tesla would adopt over with their Model Y, is the fact that you are actually able to open this and it's power assisted. It'll power open all the way up, but you do have to close it yourself though. But something that is nice too is that actually once you get it down, it actually soft closes. Yeah, whatever term I'm looking for. But yeah, it'll soft close itself basically. One thing that I give Rivian, I feel like not enough credit for, is their color options. Here we have their brand new color, which is their beautiful Catalina Cove. And I'm a big fan of this color. This is my favorite out of the entire Rivian lineup. I think it's the best, and that is a hill that I am willing to die on. I wish more vehicle manufacturers would kind of step outside of their comfort zone, I guess you could say, and just produce some more interesting and more intriguing looking colors, because especially seeing this thing in the sun and on the road, it just looks so good in my opinion. But do keep in mind though, so this Catalina Cove is an additional $2,000, but is it worth that? I'll let you decide. All right, with Rivian, you also are getting flush door handles, and once you unlock the vehicle, they will actually pop out, and they are electric, which is nice. In terms of the back, you'll notice that the back of the Rivian R2 is more boxy. Rivian decided to go this route versus a kind of a slick back approach like you see with other EVs, which overall, at the end of the day, I don't mind. I love the boxy look of the R2. That's what Rivian is. Rivian is more, when I see this car, when I see this Rivian, I feel like I want to go off-road. I want to grab like a Starlink terminal. I want to grab my dog and a tent, and I just really want to disappear off into the mountains and maybe or maybe not ever be seen again. So at Rivian, when it comes to the R2, their first thought process is how can we make a good SUV, but how can we cut costs where we need to make this thing as profitable and as successful, excuse me, as possible. First thing that they went with is this charge port. So unlike other EVs where it is power operated, this one, you're going to get a manual one. But one thing you're going to see is you're going to see an NACS port, which means that you are going to have basically unprohibited access to Tesla's supercharger network, which is excellent, making this thing a cross-country king. And also, too, a little nice touch that Rivian decided to add is this nice little maze that they have right here. If you decide that you're bored and you're sitting at the supercharger for maybe longer than you think you could, just come back here and solve this little maze. So here we are at the back of the Rivian R2, and one feature that I definitely like, there's a couple of things going on back here, is one, you have the ability to roll down the rear window. It has a similar haptic touch feedback button, similar to what we saw in the Frunk, and so just a simple press and the window will come all the way down. But if we come up here just a little bit, one thing I like too is how Rivian hid their rear wiper. So it's nicely integrated here into the rear of the vehicle, and really it's very just nicely tucked back there. And to open the trunk, just right under the V here, so you can just press this little button, and you do have a nice power operated trunk, and just looking at all the space that we got going on back here of the Rivian R2. So we do have some nice sub-trunk space, which you can actually fit a spare tire back here, which in this economy, that's something that's kind of appreciative. You have plenty of pocket space here on the left and the right. And then also something that's nice as well is you do have a 120 volt outlet as well as a 12 volt cigarette lighter back here. So the Rivian R2 does not come with a third row option similar to the Tesla Model Y and the Model YL. And then also something else that they did to cut costs is they decided to go with a manually operated second row folding down seat. So all you have to do is just press on this button that's on each side, and that allows the second row to completely fold flat. And some of my first impressions of seeing this completely folded down second row is just look how much space is back here. There is plenty of space where if you wanted to put like an air mattress back here, you could definitely use that to go camping. If you want to move stuff, you're definitely going to have no issues with the R2. And also something that's nice too is if you have dogs as well, because something else to point out as well is on the sides of the R2, you have plastic, which once again, not only is that a cost-cutting measure, but for us pet lovers out there, you're going to notice that you're not going to have dog hair that sticks to absolutely everything. That's one kind of downfall with my Tesla Model Y is, you know, when I got my dog in there, I'm spending so much time having to like scrape and having to vacuum out the sides just because all of that felt and everything that's on the side just seems to collect so much dog hair. So, but overall, I'm a big fan. All right, so hopping into the second row of the Rivian R2, my first thoughts and impressions is just look at all this legroom that we got going on in the back. So for me, here's my driver seated position. I'm 6'3", and as you can see, I have plenty of legroom here. There's no worries at all that my knees are going to touch the back of this seat. And then headroom, equally as impressive. Like I said, looking, I got about 2 fists worth of headroom, so really there's no worries about that. You are getting heated seats only in the rear, while the front of the R2 has both heated and cooled seats. Something nice that we're going to notice as well is at the back, it has like this kind of little like a spot for like a coat hanger. And then also you have 2 USB-C charging ports on either side. But overall, I feel extremely comfortable. I love what Rivian did with just the overall space and everything with the R2. You do have this nice little center console here that can also come down. You can fit a couple of drinks, you can put your phone and do all that right here. But overall, I like it. So just checking out the interior of the Rivian R2, the first thing that I do notice is just how premium this thing feels. Notice when it comes to cost cutting, everything that actually Carmen described this perfectly is everything basically from the waist down. So everything from here and below, you're going to notice a lot more plastics and everything, but from everything that's above, you're going to notice a lot more premium feel to it. This nice like wood grain interior that we got, this kind of like, I guess you could say rugged interior option. But one of the most impressive things that I noticed about the R2 is these scroll wheels. These scroll wheels feel so freaking good. And actually you can do an array of things with these. So you can actually change your fan speed. And the first thing I noticed is when I max it out, that's as high as it goes. It's almost like, it's basically like it's kind of spring loaded in place. And then you can also click them left, you can click them right to change to different things. So there's like the autonomy option. And then going on the left side here, you can change your volume control and do all that. But overall, these scroll wheels, they just feel so good. It's really hard to explain just how awesome these things are, but you can tell that there was no detail spared whatsoever when it comes to these scroll wheels. So one particular feature that I thoroughly enjoy about the Rivian R2 is this little switch right here. And that gives me the ability to roll down all 5 windows, which includes the back one, with the simple press of a button that allows me to put down all of my windows. So if it's a super nice day out, not today though, because it's literally 112 degrees right now in Las Vegas. So we're just actually going to put those back up, but they're simple one touch up and down, which overall I think is a very nice feature. Sitting in the R2, my first impression of these seats is overall they're very comfortable. I am thoroughly impressed of the attention to detail that Rivian put into these seats, because especially if you're going to be sitting in a vehicle, especially on a long cross-country road trip or even on a day-to-day, you want to make sure that your seats are comfortable. I love the stitching. I love the attention to detail that Rivian put into these seats. I do love the metal Rivian logo that's in the center. Overall, it just once again just gives me that overall luxurious feel, but it's not expensive. I noticed about the R2 as well is the black headliner. that's one of those things that I didn't think I needed until I saw it in person. So my older Tesla Model Y, well, I mean older, it's still a 2026, but late last year they decided to convert to black. And after seeing a black headliner, overall, I'm a big fan. It just, to me, it feels a lot more premium than gray. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the gray, but in my opinion, the black just looks so much better. Well, folks, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed my tour of the Rivian R2. I most certainly did. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. It helps me and Tuxedo out a lot, but hope you enjoy the rest of your day. See ya!